Never before in all our history have these forces been so united against one candidate as they stand today. They are unanimous in their hate for me, and I welcome their hatred.
The needs of working families, the middle class, not just the billionaire class. We know what's going on. We are paying attention.
Good morning, everybody. It is a Saturday. It is another day in the strange developments of the United States of America. And we only have Marcus with us here today. And let me get the audio on there. Good morning, Marcus. How you doing?
Good morning, John. Good morning, America. And I'm doing fine, and I hope you guys are doing fine too.
Yeah, well, we are. As our countries have reversed... We are doing as fine as Germany was about 1933-34. October 34 seems to be my marker. That's where I'm going, anyway.
Okay. Yes, it brings back for German memories, kind of, you know. Not the best ones, but it is very strange to see what's going on there.
It is. It's difficult. The cover card is from, what's his name? Nick Anderson. There were so many good cartoons to choose from, and I picked a cartoon because we just had a cartoonist who was fired for pushing anti-Trump cartoons. That would be freedom of speech. So I don't know what happened with that, but I thought that was pretty scary. What we're seeing here is like lines being drawn by businesses, by politicians, and by citizens. And it's really ramping up to be another civil war of sorts. It's quite frightening, really. We have Nazis in this country, and they're proud to be Nazis, and they don't want to be called Nazis, right? They don't like that word, right? They're patriots. They're proud Americans, or America First, MAGA, whatever they are, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, or her father, Mike, right? I mention them just because she was booted out of a Red Hen restaurant. I think that was today or yesterday. I just want to say thank you. That's a great way to fight back. I was talking with Marcus about that. Good morning, everybody. Before I move on, here's Joyce Sander and Lynn Vermont and Jim Lockett. How you doing? And Brom. Good to see you guys. Who else is in here?
And a very excited Melissa H., who is going to meet Nina Turner soon.
Really?
Yeah, she's telling us in chat, and this is absolutely great, fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome. Congratulations. Jonathan, thank you for being here. Barbara, who was here earlier? Human, thank you for being here. Yeah, we got lots of stuff to talk about besides Nazis. But, you know, we have a special show because we have Germans on our show, and we can talk about Nazis, both past and present. Make sure we're historically accurate.
You're so lucky, yeah.
Yeah, this is the news I really want to show you guys. Hey, Randy O. Roberts, how you doing? Phil Britton. T.C. Townsend, hey, thank you. And by the way, I am seeing your donations. I have not pushed out an Action Network bother you email in a while. If you're not subscribed to that, please subscribe.uphillmedia.org. I think that takes you to the Action Network. Go to uphillmedia.org and find our subscribe to the Action Network, because then you'll get the newsletter that has a lot of cool stuff in it, not just the stuff we talk about here. But you guys have been donating, and I really appreciate that, and we need those donations even more. I'll talk about why in a minute. I got exciting good news, even though we're kind of looking at some bad. Good news. What's wrong? We said, I'm sorry, Jim. What's going on? What did I miss?
I don't know.
Jim Lockett, sore? You're sore and humbled? I hope you're just okay. Obviously, you're not dead. That's good. So I hope whatever happened, you're okay. All right, before we get into the money stuff and that, I want to show you guys what's going on with our growing Nazi problem and the response. ICE, PDX, Occupy ICE PDX, we shut down their ICE office in Portland. I think it's growing nationally, which is good. Non-violent, nobody was arrested. And here's business owners and people at restaurants. This is the second or third instance of this. This is from Howie Klein. I don't know if you've seen the in Twitters today, but Sarah Huckabee Sanders was asked to leave by the owner of Red Hen Restaurant, and I think that's just awesome. We can exercise our rights as consumers and business owners and tell Nazis where to stick it. And if you say, well, what's the difference between that and a bakery denying baking a cake for, a gay couple? The difference between being a gay couple and being a Nazi.
Yeah.
If you can't define, if you don't see a moral difference, then you've got a fucking problem. I shouldn't have to say anything else. One's a couple, minding their own fucking business. The other's a Nazi who wants to eradicate a whole bunch of fucking people because of the color of their skin. There is a difference. And there is a difference in the way we handle both instances, right? One's an actual violation of human rights. The other's just a dick, right? So, yeah, there's.
Yeah, and we talked about this before we went live. The irony about this, you can see here business owners who say, no, you guys have to disappear right now. I don't want to make any business with you. The irony is, in Germany at that time, the Germans were forbidden to buy Jewish products or to go to Jewish shops, and it's a irony and a funny irony that that those guys now in America are said, no, it is over for you. We don't want you here. It's nice. It's nice and good to see. It
is. So congratulations to everybody that's doing that. And I'm very, very excited to see the uprising. It's the uprising I had hoped for. You guys don't know how I work. I double down. It's a sales tactic. All right. So I talk with a big, bad, scary mouth, right? So that I can get about half of what I'm hoping for, right? And look, we got it. Not that I'm saying my big fucking mouth got any of this going. I'm just saying that's the way I work. I'm really happy with what we're getting in terms of results. People are rising up in the streets. I just saw that we're still occupying the Portland ICE office, and we've got people doing it the same. I saw a new bot out that basically lists where these facilities are, where they're caging children, giving an address and a phone number so people can go give them shit. This is what we need to have happen, right?
Absolutely.
We need to make it clear that there are more good human beings in this country than racists. God, I hope there are. We need to see those numbers. So keep rising. And I just saw that Jim Lockett was stupid and cut himself with a machete. He said so.
Oh yeah. It looked horrible.
I'm not laughing at you. That's awful. Jeez.
Yeah, it is.
Jeez, man, it's terrible. Yes, Occupy ICE. Swing away from body. You guys, we're talking about Jim, not ICE.
Yeah. And Bram is absolutely correct. And by equalizing ICE and Gestapo, I call it in a slide a little bit later. My headline is ICE-Stapo. This is my creation for what's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
And they're nothing better than the Gestapo in the dark ages in Germany while we had the Nazi regime here.
That's true. It's true, and it's worked, right? Because the narrative was pushed. The narrative, I'm uphill media on Twitter, and some people are like, we wish you weren't. But, I use that power, the 16, 17,000 subscribers we have to that Twitter. I use that and the connections to push out hard messages, right? And when I see other people copying bigger people than me with much more power saying the same stuff, I go, yes. Now it's escalated to the point where we're getting this message out so that more people are like, oh shit, it's really bad. It's not a puppy story like MSM is making it out to be. There's really a problem here, and we need to get off our ass and do something. And so I'm glad that we saw that happen. I just want to thank everybody that is capable of physically going and physically doing something, because I cannot. And there are a lot of us that cannot. My goal is to broadcast what you do, to amplify what you do, to bring you in here, to help bring this news out. My goal is to fight MSM narrative. You guys know that. So
Yeah.
I know that the people that are physically doing the work deserve all of the honor. Thank you for what you're doing. All right.
Yeah.
Words divide, words unite, human. Interesting. What's the difference ultimately between ICE and all of the racist cops shooting African Americans and other? Not much.
No.
We won't. We'll get into that. But moving on from that. We're opening with that. We just talk about that because I think it's a good thing going on with the way I see Americans rising up against the racism. I think it's beautiful. If Chad Lupke's is out there, anybody in Portland, this is a message, or Oregon, not Portland, message to everybody in Oregon, but to Chad Lupke's, who's in Washington, and everybody else who watches the program, what are we doing as a channel? What are we focusing on now? We've kind of shifted gears. I know primaries are still happening, all right, and we're still supporting those efforts, but due to, one, lack of connection with other states, right, and that includes Washington and California at this point, we really have kind of limited ourselves to Oregon. We don't have the resources. We don't have the people. I've tried many times to make connections with other states and bring in volunteers. I keep asking, we are here. I will make myself available to produce whatever the hell you want. Just got to show up with a couple people. And we just don't have the people to support the other states or to support all the candidates. And I'm getting a lot of emails like, interview this person, interview that person, interview this. I can't. I need some volunteers from your state. So we're shifting to create a model for 2020 for the state of Oregon. The California show will come back when Laura and Joe are ready. The Washington show will come back when Rhonda and Courtney are ready, right? They're working on their own things. Oregon is what I'm focused on right now, and we the peeps, we just don't have anything booked. Nobody's responded to us, and Laura's kind of taking a sabbatical right now. That's where we're at. Bernice, love to have you help. Hey, Bernice Panders, haven't seen you in forever.
Oh, Bernice is there. Oh, cool.
Darcy.
Hey.
Oh, you like the hat? Do you like Bernie's hat? Gives the 3D effect like he's almost here. I'm a flat Bernier.
Wonderful. This is great.
Bernie's really flat. Everybody's just lying to you. See? That's my proof right there.
A flat burner. Yeah, cool.
Anyway. Where are you? Phil, you broadcasting again? At 104.6 FM? That's awesome.
Cool, thank you, Phil.
Are you on the road with it? That's fantastic. Okay. Back to the important stuff. So refocusing on Oregon because we need to set a model for the rest of the progressive movement on how to organize, not how to splinter, which is what we did last time. And I'm not judging. Not judging. We're all new to this. We're all very new to this. So what we did recently was Larry and I put on this 2020 planning seminar. And the first one was just to kind of outline the steps we should take together to figure out what the hell we're going to do for 2020. All right. And the next one is this Wednesday at 8 p.m., not 7. I had my times mixed up. This one's going to be talking about how we pick the incumbents we want to target and the criteria and prioritization, right? And we've got a form. It's in the description. All these links are in the description. There's a form. If you're an Oregon resident, love to have you fill it out. Look at what we've got there. Add suggestions if you want. If you're not an Oregon resident, feel free to fill it out. It's okay. All this information, until we drill down into the individual candidates and the individual people we're targeting, the general information of how to do this organization is what needs to be done for every state. All right. So these are the goals. Unified discussion between progressive orgs so we can work together more efficiently and support candidates and the issues. Because it's not about our candidate winning. It's about the movement making progress. All right. begin the discussion of choosing candidates and agree on one candidate per race because we have too many holes to fill, because we don't need to be running candidates against each other, because we have limited resources, because every candidate could be placed somewhere where they could actually win instead of running against somebody they don't have a chance in fucking hell. Let's be practical here. All right? Let's do this to win. We don't have a lot of time to dick around. We got Nazis growing in White House. We don't have time to be petty. All right? So we need to work together, choose one candidate, and craft a plan for 2020 together. Stick to it. We will win more races if we communicate. We want to facilitate that communication. We don't want to make the choices. We want to set up the scoreboard. We want to set up the map of what we need to do. We want to lay down the data, and then we want you to make the decisions before we start training these candidates, before we endorse. We want to have this all done together. We need to do this the way the pros do it. All right?
Yeah.
And that means a change in philosophy. All right? So what we're working on right now, Justin Bryce, one of the most wonderful persons who deals with the Democratic Party, helped write the platform for Oregon, right? Get engagement broadcasting in there. He works with geographical information systems, and that's layered data, all right? We're going to work with him to create a layered data map that'll be web-based, accessible by the progressive movement, and it'll eventually you'll drill down to see who the incumbent is, and then eventually who we're going to target them with, and how the resources are being allocated throughout the progressive movement. This is going to be how we organize us. All right. Again, we're not going to decide all the information that goes in there. We're just going to create the structure, and then together you and I will decide how the resources get allocated, who gets picked for what, blah, blah, blah. All right. We just need to do this together. This is what we need to do. And then hopefully this will work, and we can do this for all the states. Remember, title is good, purpose is better. This is not about your candidate winning. This is about the progressive movement winning. This is about human beings surviving. Let's go to the bigger picture, right? And keep that in mind as we move towards 2020.
Yeah.
So please, our next meeting, Wednesday, 8 p.m., fill out the form. We'll have another form because we want to keep getting feedback and information. We're looking for progressive leadership, mainly because we want to have the discussion with everybody in Oregon. We want to have this discussion, but we want the leadership to take their groups and have the same discussions, right? Come up with your answers, bring us those answers to the main meeting, right? That's how this delegation should work. Take your people, get your answers, come bring it to the rest of us. Like a representative government. It's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, what else I got here? If you want to get involved, info@uphillmedia.org. Okay. If you want to do this for your state, info@uphillmedia.org. If you're curious about anything we're doing, info@uphillmedia.org. All right. Please help us get connected with the progressive movement in Oregon, everywhere in Oregon, so that we can organize together. Hashtag Oregon 2020. I'll be pushing that out with different information. Just could use your help to share this with everybody. We're gonna make this. We're gonna get our shit together so that when 2020 rolls around, we take a candidate. And I just got to explain this to you. We did everything backwards with our candidates in 2018. What we did was say, hey, who out there wants to run for office? And then once somebody was like, I'll do it. We were like, fine. What are all of your answers right now to everything? And what are all the resources that you have? And how are you going to win? And what we were supposed to do was say, hey, people who are willing to try to run, we've created this platform for you. We'll build your website. will help you understand your positions, because as long as you're a progressive and agree with the general set of the issues, we can help you solidify the details of your positions. It's our responsibility to write that shit out. It's our responsibility to train you to be the champion we want you to be. It's not our job to hand you an endorsement that means squat after we've interrogated you and made you feel like nothing because you showed up with nothing. That's how we treated our candidates this year. And we need to reverse that thinking, okay? If we're looking for champions, we need to find them, nurture them, hone them, train them, and provide them with what they need to win. Not offer them shit in an endorsement and make them fill out a 900-page fucking form, all right? So let's actually be something for our candidates in 2020 instead of whatever it was we did this time. We had lots of ground effort, but that was about it. We didn't do any of the other things that candidates actually needed, right? We were too busy complaining about why they couldn't fill out our long forms. So a little less about us and our groups, a little more about actually candidates. That's where I'm heading here, all right?
Yeah.
So all right, now I'm done scrutinizing us. We're going to move on into, what is this? Oh, I was going to show this about Justin Bryce works at the Conservation Biology Institute, which is where they do the geographical information systems. Also, there's a link for that form. I forgot to show you that. And there's a link for a marketing folder in Google Drive. If you guys want to help us, I'll eventually have the links sheet printed out, or I'll have the link sheet with actual links in it. There aren't links, but I'm making some basic graphics to help us. If you want to push them out in social media, donate, subscribe. It would be great. Any help you can do would be fantastic, because, and this is the last thing, Marcus, and then we're going to move on into other stuff last week on UHM. But Larry finally went forward and purchased our USB modems for the LiveView Solo. All right. Yeah. So what that means is that now we've put ourselves into more debt, or Uphill Media has, because Larry did, and it's going to cost us money every month, right? About $70 a month in additional fees, along with the upfront costs, which wasn't much. It was like $200. You guys are helping make this possible by your monthly donations, and when we do live chats, doing the super chat, we're going to start streaming more of the stuff, the protests. I'm assuming there's going to be more protests over the next several months. I'm not thinking they're going to back down. I don't know. What do you think, Marcus?
Good question. I don't think that anybody is backing down.
No, it's going to escalate. So we'll have the Solo. We'll be able to use it live in different places around Oregon. And if you have crews ready in other states, we could possibly send it to do those things. But really what we're going to do here is support what we can with our limited resources. But we will have the Solo, and that'll allow us to do rallies anywhere, right? So I think that's awesome. And thank you, Larry, for pulling the trigger on that. Man, there's a phrase I just don't want to ever use anymore. Fuck.
Fuck? Oh, what do you mean?
Well, no, I love the phrase fuck. Pull the trigger. It's just not, it's apropos, right?
Yeah, I see.
I think Bernie or Nina will run in 2020. Bernie will run. Nina will not run for an office like that. I don't think so. I don't think. But anyway. Hi, Crazy Horse. Is there a strong third-party candidate? Bernie. Technically, we don't know that he'll run Dem Party yet either. The Dem Party thinks so, at least the majority of us. Right? It'll be interesting. I'm interested to see what happens with Tim Canova. Right?
Oh yeah.
Running as an independent in Florida against Debbie Wasserman Schultz. If Tim shows strong, that would be encouraging. Right?
Yeah.
I hope he wins. We need to see an independent win. That's not Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
More streaming is good for Uphill. Yes, Darcy, it is. Sorry. What did you say, Marcus?
It would be encouraging, indeed. Yes.
It would
to
be.
see him win. Yeah.
It would be. Did I cover all this stuff? Let's see. Marketing folder, Oregon 2020, LiveView Solos, Target. Yeah, and subscribe if you haven't. All right, that's all the stuff. See, there's my list. There's our rundown right there. Anyway, primary preview. Do you want to talk about Ocasio?
We can have a quick looking back at the Progressive Oregon show when they were talking about healthcare.
Oh, right, I forgot that. Bink. There we go.
Dennis and Katie, and I don't want to comment the show. I think it covered it all. I don't have to add anything. Everything essential was in there. I just want to tell you guys a little thing why I was absent the past week, because my mother felt sick, and how much I have to spend, or my mom had to spend for taking care of her. The thing is, she was under heavy pain, and she had to be taken by ambulance to the hospital, and this included afterwards also some doctor visits, etc., and new medication and stuff. And now you can ask me how much I have to pay for this stuff, or my mom had to pay, and I can tell you zero. And it included even an emergency doctor who came at night at 10 o'clock in the evening to give her something against her pain. And also, we only had to show our little cards, as Dennis and Katie said, and everything was cool then. And he left, and everything was fine then.
So
yeah, it was $0.
$0.
€0. €0.
Zeros, right? Euros.
Right.
Well, I'm glad she's better, and
yeah, me too.
Thank you for sharing that story of decent healthcare with us.
Yeah, just a review from my last week, my healthcare topic.
Yeah, and there would not be an American with the same story. No matter what happened, even if their mom turned out okay and doctor showed up at 10 o'clock at night, in that story there would be, and the doctor cost me X dollars, and the drugs cost me X dollars. And
now imagine from which country the doctor came at night.
Would they fly him in with a?
No. He was living in Germany, but his roots are in Iran. He was a Persian.
Your mom got seen by a terrorist? Holy shit!
Yes.
Wow.
And the terrorist helped my mom, and he was a great. Yeah,
that's why your crime rates are up, according to Trump. It's because you have terrorist doctors being flown in from Iran to see your mom.
The miracle 10% criminal increase here. It caused a big laughter. Not that much big laughter, but it pisses us. It pisses us off more and more and more. And the voices are getting louder. To cut ties with the Trump regime for good, and of course to kick Richard Guerrero's ass from here. It is clear that it's not going to happen in the foreseeable future. But we have enough. It's good.
No, it is. So I'm looking at chat here. I'm glad your mom's. Everybody's glad your mom's okay. And they're obviously jealous. I'm jealous anyway. Lynn, Vermont. The ambulance ride. Did your mom have to go in an ambulance at all? Or did they just come to your house, take care of it?
The ambulance came to our house, of course.
Ambulance came to the house. And Crazy Horse is saying that Bernie is not going to run. We don't know where the evidence is coming from, but it would be interesting if he didn't. And I'm not sure how much it would matter. It would be interesting to see what he did with his power if he didn't run. You know what I'm saying? He'd use it somewhere.
I think I'm pretty sure now that Bernie is running in 2020, because otherwise he would have built up a candidate he favors for doing this instead of him. And there is no signal that he has a certain guy or a certain woman who he thinks who can take this. I don't see anything from there. He's doing his rallies. He's active, and he will run definitely.
Well, yeah.
For me, it's no doubt.
So yeah, and just a couple of things in the chat. First of all, this is a conversation show, human. So the idea is for me to pay attention to the chat and kind of look at it and respond, it's not being easily distracted. It just seems to be what you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
Who's distracted? You guys are talking about. Anyway, secondly, Yeah, right, Darcy. Bernie doesn't have to run. So Bernie's doing exactly the same thing he did last time. He had to run for senator, and then he will he will do the same thing he did in 2020. If he runs for president, he'll quit and run for president, right, or however that worked in 2 years. You know, it's not a whatever. It's if he runs, which I think he will. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't, unless there's a health issue that arises. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't. He's the most popular politician in the United States of America, and that just gets bigger and bigger as more and more Democrats show that they're either really Republicans, Joe Manchin, right? Joe Manchin, who said he has no problem supporting Trump and no problem voting for the wall. It's like, why don't you just change the D to R, dude? I don't know what you're doing with a D under your name. D for dumb shit. And there's so many other Democrats that are showing their true colors on this, particularly the ones in power, Pelosi, Schumer. Yeah. So, you know, it's the whole idea is to have a conversation about it, you know. So say Bernie doesn't run. Say Bernie says, I'm putting all my endorsement behind X, right? Who would that be? There's your question. Who would that be based on who we see right now?
Yeah.
I don't know. And no, it's not going to be Kamala fucking Harris.
Yeah.
No, it is not. No. What were we talking about? What else are we talking about?
I think now we can go over to the primaries, to the preview for Tuesday.
No. So we talked about healthcare, but we forgot to say it was that the next conversation tomorrow.
Oh, okay. I wanted to rest this later. Okay.
I know, but we should put them together because
okay.
It doesn't make any. We should really put it together. I know it's in the next section, but here, this is the one we're doing. This is the one we're doing tomorrow. Okay, campaign finance reform, and we're gonna have Bjorn and Markus discuss the German system, which isn't perfect. Okay, but they're gonna discuss the German system versus the American system. I put that in large quotes, and see where we go.
And this brings us directly to our primary preview, because there we have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez running in New York District 14. And if we're looking at what's going on there, we saw in the past week that Joe Crowley is massively spending money on TV advertisement, you know, in his favor, and
yes,
this is exactly what, and this is something which hurts every other candidate who doesn't have the resources, the money to do the same, you know. And exactly this is a big difference from what we have here in Germany, and I'm very excited to have this discussion tomorrow when we explain how our system worked and what consequences, what similarities, and of course what has to be changed, you know. And this is exactly the point. The dollars, the money which goes into the politics, into the TV ads, and this is completely unfair. And definitely, I hope that Alexandria wins, because I think she has the arguments on her side. Absolutely.
Well, yeah, I agree. But we've seen how much that the media attention, like you said, the commercials make a huge difference. And
exactly.
I got to jumping to just the comments real quick. Shit. I mean, we missed a bunch of primaries because we just don't have the people to pay attention to them. And did Randy Bryce's primary happen? Are there results? I mean, that's a good question.
That's a good question. Yeah.
Who was it that was just saying? How did Randy Bryce do? Hey, Louise, how you doing? Joyce Sanders saying, I don't know. Honestly, don't know. That's part of the problem. There doesn't seem to be any. Does anybody know of any of the major progressive organizations that are keeping a decent scorecard? Right? I mean, are they all just keeping a card for their own people? I don't know. That's one of the things that we had thought to do was build like a scorecard, and I thought, well, that's not. You know, that's where we went with the Oregon thing. Let's organize 2020 because, but man, it would be nice to see that, to be able to give everybody a comprehensive list of wins, right? And then kind of break those wins down into what truly is a good one. Marcus, you and I were talking sort of about that already.
Yes.
The debate was great. I wanted to say one more thing about the healthcare thing that Marcus doesn't know. Oh, actually, he might have noticed in the chat. So Larry Taylor, you guys know Larry Taylor is the chair of the Clatsop County Democratic Party in Oregon. Okay. He's also the president of Advancement of Democracy, which is his new organization. And among a gazillion other jobs, he's also the president of Uphill Media board of directors. All right. He helped us turn this into this. He's got connections, right? I mean, he's one of the big, powerful people in Oregon in terms of progressive movement. All right. Not sleazeball corporate shitbags. I'm talking progressive. He's powerful progressive mover and shaker. All right. And he's been reaching out to people. Let's get involved. He sent an email this morning, or maybe it was yesterday, to Jeff Merkley's people to get him on the show to talk about immigration. Who was it that just asked about talking about immigration? I think it was Jonathan. So, yes, we're going to talk about these things. We're going to use this show to do more of the big discussions. We're kind of modeling it after the Bernie programs where, he brings in some people from different places, some people from the U.S., some people from the places that have systems that actually function, and we talk about the differences and solutions. We'd like to bring Jeff Merkley on in this scenario, but my point being is that the healthcare one was so well received. Larry sent it out to some names, and that they were, and one of them, I think. I'm going to say Katie Titus. I could be wrong. Said this is a quote. Said it was ingenious. And see, this is the kind of thing that gets me excited again, that I thought was going to happen like 3 fucking years ago, was that finding the right people within the progressive system to go, we like that. Let's support that and use it. And I think we're on the way to doing that. If we can if we can do more of these kind of discussions and keep it limited to what we can manage, which is Oregon right now, right? And make the discussions really pertinent, really valuable to the Oregon base. I think that's where we have the most value. I would love to do the same thing for other states. It takes people and resources, right? So that's really where we're at. But and that's not, again, I'm not abandoning everybody else. We're not abandoning other states because most of our donations don't come from Oregon. My mailing list has 14 people on it from Oregon, according to the mailing list. Okay. There's like 150 people I annoy with that list. 14 of them are supposedly from Oregon. So please keep sending us your money. We will continue to do other things to support the rest of the country. We're not abandoning you. The Uphill Oregon channel. That was all on that, Marcus. I just wanted to go back to that because you guys did such a phenomenal job with that, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow for the same.
Me too. Yeah, and as I said, Alexandra is running there, and she's under pressure because of the big money in the process there. And but I hope that that she reached enough people and that she will get the vote. And coming back to the latest debate, this is a new article coming out yesterday from QNS. Interesting thing I didn't know so far. During the debate, she brought up that Crowley's second largest donor, BlackRock Group, accepts money from corporations that profit off of immigrant detention centers. And I think this is an interesting news after what we've seen in the past week and what happened with the kids in cages. I want to put it like this, and. It is unbelievable. And then I remember when he in a discussion didn't answer a question as usual. He was dodging everything. And when Alexandra made her point, his only answer was, "Yeah, I'm a progressive also."
I know.
And this really cracked me up. And I thought to myself, "Wow, what an asshole!" And I'm glad that I can say this here.
It reminded me of Hillary. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I'm a progressive.
Yeah,
no, I'm a centrist. Nope. I'm a. What do you need me to be today?
Yeah, and she totally wiped the floor with him in this interview.
I only have some of the comments, but you guys,
please show them.
You guys laid them down. There's more than 250 comments on this video so far, more than 8,000 views. You guys are awesome, and all I did was bring it down from Facebook. So thank you to whoever. I think there's people for Bernie Sanders who actually put this up there, but These are just some of the choice comments. Act Free is my favorite. Damn boy got clapped. She just slaughtered him. Great job. You are full of shit, Crowley, you fucking corporate whore. I think that's all completely appropriate. We're going to talk about appropriate words. By the way, Peter Fonda. I say this, Peter Fonda, and your words, we don't have to agree with your words, but your words will never be as abhorrent, as horrific, as horrible as the actions of the actual government. So we can get all up in Peter Fonda's grill about him saying some words that we find are harsh, but the truth is, they're words. Let's not forget, actions. Actions are worse than the words, and our government is actually putting kids in cages. Peter Fonda is insinuating maybe if one of her kids was in a cage, she'd think differently about the jacket she wore to go visit them. Right? Anyway, I just wanted to bring that out. Words are useful as tools, and they get anger out, and they send a message, but they are not actions. Let's make sure we separate those two things. All right, so I'm just defending Pete there because I know he caught a lot of shit for that. You guys had some great. Joe Crowley, your typical New York white trash, self-absorbed, misogynist, fat pig.
Clearly to the point, you know.
There were so many other wonderful, wonderful comments. She did an amazing. I mean, that's not liberal bias or progressive bias. There, she really did a phenomenal job and had her shit together. You know? And we don't have to forget. Anyway, what happens on Tuesday? You know, in New York 14, this was her first attempt. Oh yeah.
And
oh my God.
And for this, she drew a lot of attention and a lot of votes on her. And even if it would not go well for her on Tuesday, this woman will stay in politics and she will reach her target. I'm absolutely sure she has a personality for this.
I agree. That's the positive thing to think of, and we'll talk about that with Larry, candidate, or when you talk about selecting the incumbents to target and our candidate selection, and Alexandria now has experience. Not that she had experience doing other things before in public service and activism, right? But now she's got experience. If she loses, she becomes one of the most powerful potential candidates for 2020 in New York, right?
Oh, yeah.
And she has 2 years to build that power to win whatever fucking race she wants, really, right? That's the value.
And we know her.
Yeah, and that's the. You're like, and we know her.
She will. We know her.
She will. I think she's got a great chance to beat Crowley at this point. He's sliding. He's losing points. He's pulling out dirty tricks, and she has done everything above board. I pushed out a little video like slamming Crowley on his statements about not taking money. She won't even touch it. She won't even use it. No negative stuff. It's all. She doesn't have to. She's doing a great job on Twitter, right? But she is the. So I just want to say this. Larry put on his list, the first thing on his list of suggestions for criteria for choosing our candidates for 2020. Prior experience running for office. Because if you don't have prior experience running for office or being in office, then you are running for an entry-level position. Those are all the positions that nobody really thought about, that nobody really wants to run for, and that's where most people should be starting. Not as someone with zero experience running for governor. I commend your patriotism and your effort, but let's get real, right? Yeah. So we're going to help. We need to help organize that, figure that out. That's where that goes. Anyway, Marcus.
Yeah, I'm here. Oh yes, the concentration camps for kids.
It's time to go to the serious stuff.
Oh yeah. What we saw last week was, I had no words for this, and it made me, and not only me, I think all of us very, very angry. And this is not tolerable. You know, was not tolerable in Germany with the Nazi regime, and it's not tolerable today what's happening in the US, you know. And it is, in my opinion, this is pure torture. Not only what the kids concern, also the parents who must go crazy, you know, being separated.
Yeah.
And it is a sadistic behavior. And Trump and his gang They are sadists, nothing else. And how much does it help what he signed a couple of days later when the pressure got too hard on him? You know, did it help so far the kids who are sitting in the cages? Did they have already brought back to their parents? I have no information on this.
No,
I only
500 kids
so far, and this is ridiculous. You know,
500 kids have been reconnected out of thousands and thousands and thousands, and they've said that they have no fucking idea. There was no paper trail between the children and their parents, none.
Yeah,
this amounts to this. Okay, we're basically one step away. And we did this. We told them we were taking their kids away to bathe. I mean, we talked about this on the last week's show, but it's gotten even worse with his new policy, because his new policy is basically, we're just going to stick you in prison. And we're paying a fuck ton of money. Our tax dollars, you and me, are paying for these kids to go in camps. We're paying millions and millions of dollars for contractors that Joe Crowley takes money from. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so many other corporate Dems and so many of all of the fucking Republicans take money from these people, right? We're funding it. We are paying millions of dollars to put these kids in prison. Now we're just putting them with their parents in prison.
And I want to go one step further. Those people who accept or get money out of this, just as we've seen Joe Crowley, you know, what is the difference between an ICE agent who looks a little children, a little toddler or a kid in the eye and deports it somewhere, separates it from their parents? What is the difference between this ICE agent and those politicians in the back rows? There is no difference, in my opinion, you know. And those guys who are actively working for ICE, in my opinion, you can collect them and put them in a kind of psychiatry, you know, because those guys cannot be are not sane in their minds, you know. For me, they are kind of sociopaths.
Yeah, they are. More and more people are calling it like it is. We have a Nazi problem. It's a white supremacy problem. It's bad. It's not going away. We need to stop it. And
I must add this, and it is not happening in America. These pictures of what we saw last week are horrible, you know. But if you know that in the past, I think it was in the past 2 weeks, on their trip to Europe, 200 people with their ships sank and drowned. We don't have any photos of this, of course. This is a unanimous mass of people.
So you're talking about the same kind of racism happening over there, just turning back refugees.
In Europe, exactly, you know, or making it difficult for them to enter the EU. There's a ship on the way who gets denied to bring refugees they're picked up in the sea, you know, and they don't know what to do right now.
Why do you think that's happening over there? Why do you think there's an upsurge in that?
In Europe?
Yeah.
Oh, why? I think we cannot discuss this right now, because this would take a minimum one extra show. You know, there's so much going on here in Europe. It is frightening.
Okay. All right. Well, we could get to that.
Yeah, well, of course we will do.
I know it's complex because there's a lot going on there, but
it's very complex.
The truth. I mean, let's be honest. Europe, in comparison to the United States, just the United States. Okay, Europe, Canada can be included in that, has taken millions and millions and millions of refugees in already. Okay, so you know, you guys are doing your part in the community there. You may not, we got issues, but we don't do that. Like, we take in nobody. We're shitbags, and we cause the problems, and they all go to your countries. You know. So.
The thing is, what I want to say, it is getting what it didn't start with Trump. Trump is it is only the symptom of what is lying deeper. But we can see there is more and more nationalism going on, you know, in Europe, in your country, you know, and let's close the borders. A lot of people say let's close all the borders in Europe and let's build a wall around Europe in a symbolic way and not let anyone in anymore. You know, this is no solution.
Right.
Becoming only national, and yeah, America first is then Germany first, is Italy first, is Poland first, and this didn't help. The history proved this, and I can get that Europe forgets this. What happened over centuries in Europe when we had the national states here? There was one war after another, and yeah, it is frightening to see. You know, the nationalism which is getting more and more worse. You know.
Yeah, it is frightening. Poland, my ancestors. Come on, you guys. Pull your heads out of your Bibles. Jeez, what's going on over there, you people? It's what rampant Catholicism does to a country. Poland. Yeah. And going back to some of your statements, just looking through there, Jonathan, talking about Trump using the prison camps just like Hitler used gassing, because really, there's very little difference. You're going to die in those camps eventually. And you're traumatizing, you're destroying these kids mentally and physically and emotionally. It's just horrific. And do not think for 1 minute that this does not reach that final step, because everybody that says, oh, we're not there, just wait. You sitting back with popcorn? Because that's what Germany did. And then they were there. And then they went, oh, fuck. I mean, that's literally what's happening in this country, is we are on our way to justifying Zyklon B. We are on our way. All right. I'm waiting for it to pop up. Email from Stephen Miller asks, can we get Zyklon B anymore?
Oh, yeah. You know? Stephen Miller, it would fit. Yeah, perfect.
Because that guy's a fucking Nazi.
He is.
And if anybody needs to have it handed to him in a back alley with a shiv to the kidney, it's Stephen fucking Miller. Do I get in trouble for that, FBI? If I insinuate that somebody should do bodily harm to him and every other Nazi piece of shit? I'm just curious. And to those of you in Oregon, maybe listening to this, this is the Awake Show. It's a morning show that we do where it's a lot more expressive about what we're talking about here. The shows that Larry does, those are different. So don't freak out. Go watch the Larry shows. This is a little bit more, you know. And I didn't tell you guys, I just want to jump from one quick. I think we lost the DPO. I don't know what happened to DPO. I think the progressive power within the DPO that was very excited about working with us has been told to nope by the establishment power that still controls the DPO.
Oh, then there are no progressives. Sorry, John.
Well, they can't do anything. They have no choice. They're not the ones that get to pull the strings. They're not the ones that get to authorize the cash. They're not the ones that get to say yes. This is just my take, just based on the lack of correspondence since particular events.
Well, if this would be, and I would call myself a progressive, and would have and have the order not to go into contact with other progressives, then I would say I would ask myself if my position was even worth to do any longer. You know, if this job is
that's not well. Larry believes that it's a sit and wait tactic, turtle tactic. Okay, because they will take power. So there's stuff going on, but we haven't heard back from them since. I think what we're going to do, since we're going to have the live view solo, everybody, is that we're just going to broadcast the third quarter SCC meeting of the DPO.
Okay.
Because we can now. Doesn't matter where they have it. Thank you, Larry. See? And thank you all for continuing to donate to make that happen. And did you see the last slide? I just want to show you this. This was cool. This is actually on a billboard. I don't know where they did this, but I thought this was nice.
Yeah, we got a video for this, also a short one.
Oh, I didn't even pull it up. Sorry. We're gonna run late anyway. I didn't pull the video. Is it worth watching? Is that good?
Oh, it is shown how it was made. You know, the group is called. Let me quickly look it up. In Decline. A group called In Decline made this, and absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. DPO, everybody, sorry. Democratic Party of Oregon, because I believe in taking over the ghost ship that it is. And listen, according to Larry, the Democratic Party of Oregon is actually in pretty good progressive shape. It's just we have to take over those top slots. But we have 2/3 vote. We have the majority vote in the DPO. And it has won victories for us recently in the second quarter meeting and doing other things. So that's positive. That's maybe why I kind of backed down to focus a little more on what I thought we could like handle and have control over and make progress with, right? We all kind of need to do that. But yeah, there's good hope there. It's and we'll talk more about that as we get into the planning and the strategy about who it is we're talking about that we need to target. I mean, that's what it's going to come down to, is being honest about who needs to go, you know? And so, hey, Barbara, yes, we do. Yes, we do. We're going to cut it off. Like, we're almost at an hour, Marcus. So we should just make this like a nice hour show, you know?
One of the rare times we succeed doing this, you know?
Well, we don't. It's just you and me. We don't have all these other people.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to go off on?
No, I'm through with my part so far.
Don't forget, tomorrow, join us for campaign finance reform.
Absolutely, yeah.
Marcus and everybody.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this, and I hope we can get more people involved in these discussions. I think this is.
Did we mention that Björn will be with us tomorrow
Yeah.
for the? Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm excited about that because that seems to be one of his things. He's very interested.
Absolutely, because for a year now, or for nearly a year, he is now a member of the Social Democratic Party in his place, and he was declared to become the treasurer of this branch of the party, and so he gets more and more familiar with all the legal stuff, and it's great to have him tomorrow for this topic. Yeah.
Who's you want to see that sign? Are you talking at the back of Blago Pongo? It's just no anarchy.
Oh,
that's from Philadelphia 2016. I was trying to figure out what he was talking about, which sign. I'm like, you can see the sign fine. I put it up on the screen, really big, and then it's like behind me. I get it. Barbara, only 1 hour. Well, yeah. Sorry.
Let me drop a link.
Scientists, be they political scientists or regular scientists, are badass. Agreed. New York primary this Tuesday. Yes. And yeah. Let's see. I hope that's go Alexandria. Gosh, I hope she wins. Did you guys see that? Move On. MoveOn.org signed up with Ocasio 2018.
They did, yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, and it was a big punch for Crowley also at the same moment. Yeah. Oh, the poor guy.
But they know him. Yeah.
Yeah.
We know that you take money from PACs that are involved in the prison to profit system, along with a whole bunch of other people, Joe.
Yeah.
Did I even go off on the Ro Khanna thing? That was weird. I think I did. That was a while back. Apparently, Jimmy Dore laid into him about dual endorsing, and I didn't see that whole thing.
Yeah. He did.
I would love to know what was going on there. Go plant tomatoes and peppers. Thank you, Crazy Horse. Have fun. That's what I will be doing. I got harvesting. We got raspberries to pick, strawberries to pick. I was telling Marcus that for all the anti-GMO, and here, I got to ask you this. Here's a serious question. Serious question. Okay, I'm anti-GMO, all right? I'm genetically modifying stuff, although I have a Shih Tzu dog, which is basically a slow genetic modification, right, through breeding. But I got these strawberries in our yard. We don't generally buy GMO products, but we bought these strawberries that are white strawberries that have a pineapple flavor to them. They're fucking amazing. So I have a really hard time hating GMO products and really liking these strawberries because I'm letting them grow and I'm going to grow a ton of them. And I think we should do more strawberries like that. But I'm pretty sure that those didn't come about due to selective breeding. So, thank you, Lisa D. Appreciate that. Just saying thanks, Marcus.
Thank you, Lisa.
That's nice. Anyway, just a question to you. If there was a fruit or vegetable that you just absolutely fucking loved like that, a strawberry, pineapple flavored white strawberry, what would you do? It's a dilemma. It's a dilemma. It tastes so good. Try to make it naturally? I don't know. I can't be ignorant and say that it's not going to harm the environment. I'm sure there's something in it that's bad. It'll do something wrong, but it tastes really good. I'd give it up if it would get rid of our Nazi problem. There's that. I would give up the strawberries to get rid of the Nazis. I wish it would be that easy, but it's actually going to take us protesting and stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Did I cover everything, Marcus? I got to look at the list.
I think we're through, John.
Yeah.
Or?
All right. No, here we are. Now we're on to Death Grips. I've seen footage.
Yes, the Death Grips, yeah. Another band I didn't know until a couple of weeks before when I checked out what kind of music we could play for the California Primary live show we did. And we did not play this track. I like it very much because it is a kind of experimental hip-hop, electro-punk, and it is a very, how can I say it? It is very challenging sometimes to listen to these guys. I did not bring for today the real deep, the strong stuff. Something I gotta confess is really not listenable. But this track is really cool in my opinion. Some of their stuff is produced by Björk, who has a connection to them, which is kind of funny. I was not aware of this, but
really?
They seem to be popular in the world of Björk, if you want so, right?
Wait, Björk, the musician?
Björk, the musician.
Okay, not Bjorn, our friend Bjorn. Okay, Björk.
No, not Bjorn. No, Björk. Björk.
Do you know I met her once?
Yeah. This is why I mentioned this. Yeah, you know her.
She looked like an alien. She was wearing some pretty freaky clothes. It's weird.
Yeah, I like the early stuff she did with the Sugar Cubes and the first two albums. I think there she was absolutely great.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so that's cool. So this is these guys.
These are the guys. They are MC Wright, Sakil, and Andy Moran. And the one funny thing I read, I don't know if it is really true, says that the drummer, when a concert is over, the drums are not existing anymore. They're trash, but not because, like the guys did it in the 70s or the 60s, they just trash it. No, he drums it down, you know. It is, in the end, when the concert is over, the drum is done, if you want to.
Well, we don't have a video of that, unfortunately, but
no, we cannot. But you can check it on YouTube. There are a lot of other videos from them, and hope you enjoy it. And I hope to see you tomorrow for the Oregon show, talking about campaign finance reform.
Yes, and that's the next live stream, Jonathan. Is tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific. Is the Progressive Oregon show talking about campaign finance reform? Conversations with Europe is the new series, right? And So we'll see you then. Thank you very much. Thank you for the song choice. Thank you, everybody in the audience, for being here. Please share the content. Please look at the links in the description, right? We need to unify. We got a planet to save. We got some Nazis to get rid of. All sorts of work to do. It's ridiculous.
Have a great one. Bye-bye.
Not wasting, swallow my knees. I stay knees. I stay knees. Not wasting, swallow my knees. I stay knees. I see foot. What's that? Can't tell. Handheld drink. Shot in hell. Deep space ghetto drink. Show me something I ain't seen before. Mystery on that. That door juice that electric the book. With the sign, somebody in that house. Killing no go. One time. Creep up behind me. Over my shoulder. Turn around. Try to see, but it's nowhere. Noise. Static on my blaster. I see footage. I stay naughty. I see footage. I see footage. I stay naughty. I see footage. I stay. I see footage. I stay naughty. I see footage. I stay. I see footage. I stay naughty. I see footage. I stay. I see footage. I stay naughty. I see footage. I stay. I see. Everybody's knowing where you think you're going and going nowhere. Saddle up, handle that, feel that part. Who captures love? Who takes what's left? Who's next? On that next already. No more killer Cardi. Like I told you, don't trust me. What's up with it? I stay naughty. Stimulation overloaded. Care for it. Desensitized by the man. shining, don't sleep so day, let's close my bed. I see footage, I stay naughty, I see footage, I stay I see footage, I stay naughty, I see footage, I stay I see footage, I stay naughty, I see footage, I stay I see footage, I stay naughty, I see footage, I stay I see. Get up, these, not wasting, swallow my these. I stay these, I stay get up, these, not wasting, swallow my these. I stay neat. I'm a cop of a 5 block on some kid who steps up. Fast was hard to grasp what even happened to see that hair blow off his shoulders in slow-mo. We won that, it's so cold. We won that, it's so cold. I see footage, I stay noise. You said with so much boy, real looseness seem like no bones in his skin. Watch all hit the floor like this real floor. Gotta see that one more kid. I stay listen and went over pedestrian in Brazil. Little tiger, boy soldier. Twist the cat back and kill. See crazy shit, man, crazy shit. See crazy shit, man, crazy shit. Ah, shit. Shit it in crazy, 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 shit it in crazy.